do I have some news for you today. You are in the client baggage industry. Yep, add that to your resume, client baggage handler. You see, clients don't come to us with a blank slate, having had no experience. So just like relationship baggage, you think of someone who's gone through an awful breakup because they've had bad experience, they've just been treated horribly, and then inevitably they go to the next relationship, and without meaning to, they carry that baggage over into the new relationship. And then they start to think that the new relationship is going to go the same way. Now, the same thing happens with your clients, but you need to address this. And this is something you absolutely can overcome and have a very positive experience that otherwise could go downhill quickly if you let it. So we got to handle that baggage before that baggage starts to handle your relationship and you end up having to break up with this client. So I want to share with you a handful of tips that you can use to overcome client baggage and have a very healthy relationship with your clients. So the first one is to ask the client about their prior experience. Have they hired for this type of work before? Have they worked with anyone before? And if yes, what is making them reach out and continue looking for someone to help with this work? What went well before? What didn't go well before? And just by asking, you can have a very good picture of what happened with this client and the last person or people that they have worked with before. Now, the second is, now that you've asked and you understand what they've been through, is that you need to acknowledge the baggage. That's right. We need to make sure that they know that we understand where they're coming from and we hear their concerns. So we can say something like, oh, how frustrating is that to feel like you can trust somebody, to spend all that time and money and to end up not getting the result that you want. I've simply, by stating that, have acknowledged the baggage. Now they know that I get what they're going through. Yes, it's frustrating. Yes, I spent money. Yes, I've spent time. And now I still don't have results. And then we can continue on saying, and now you're left wondering, if you start this process over again, are you going to end up getting the same result? Because really, that's the objection the client has. So while we're busy thinking, oh, well, am I showing enough value? And, do I have the right price for them? Does this all make sense to them? Is this going to work? In their mind, they're thinking, wow, all of this looks good. But this kind of sounds like last time. This kind of sounds like the promises I heard last time. So the real objection has nothing to do with you at all. The objection is this person going to do the same thing that the last person did? Because they didn't do what they said they were going to do, right? So that's where we have to overcome that objection, okay? That means we have to address that head on. Well, here's what you can expect. Here is how this is going to go. All right, so we have to set expectations with these clients. So they're very clear on what we're going to do and what we're not going to do. They're very clear on how things are going to work and how things are not going to work, especially if when you asked about their prior experience, they shared topics like communication. Then you want to be very, very clear on what they can expect because they've had that bad experience and they need to know things are going to be okay. So as an example, early on in my career, before I was really, really good at setting expectations up front before we got into the work, there was a client who sent me some work. I started to work on it, and then the emails came, the phone calls came, and then the ultimatums. If you don't have this work done in an hour, well, then I'm done. And really, that had nothing to do with me because I was doing the work and I was doing it honestly and doing what it was that I said I was going to do by the time I said I was going to do it. But having come from a bad prior experience, he thought if he waited until the date I said I was going to do it, well, then he would show up on that day and, well, the work wouldn't all be done. Time wasted. So he was putting deadlines on me ahead of time to make sure I was actually doing what I said I was going to do. So this is where we want to make sure that we set expectations up front so that the clients know exactly what to expect. So, for example, if a client may want to call or they want to email, I want to let them know when that they can expect a response from me. So I like to say something along the lines of, my main goal is to get you the best results possible. So the way that I do that best for my clients is by fully devoting the time that I have to getting those results and putting in the work that is required in order to achieve the outcomes that we talked about. This means that if you call and I don't answer, it's not that I'm ignoring you, but it is that you are calling while I am working hard on getting those results. So if you call me, I don't answer, I will return that email, or I will return that phone call between 3 and 4 o'clock in the afternoon. So you can expect a call or a response email during that time. So see, it tells them not only when they can expect it, so they don't go into panic mode when they email you at 12 o'clock and they don't hear back from you at 2 o'clock. They know that, well, 3 o'clock is coming up and I should hear back from her by 4. So they don't go into panic mode and have their minds start running during that time. But I've also given them the reason as to why I do that, and it makes complete sense. Oh yes, I do want to leave you alone because yes, I want you getting those results that we talked about. And lastly, this should go without saying, do what it is that you say you're going to do. And that's that, because you want to make sure that you give them a good, positive experience that is different, of course, than the negative one that they had before. So make sure to ask about those prior experiences, acknowledge them, overcome that objection based on the baggage that they've had, and then set expectations, not only the ones that you normally would, but set expectations based on the prior experience that they've had, so they're very clear on how you operate and will expect you to operate just in that way and not worry if you don't operate in the way they have going on in their mind, and then show up and do what it is you say you're going to do. So it is your job to recognize the baggage as the client baggage handler and then help overcome that so you have a very positive and healthy relationship with your client moving forward. Have you ever dealt with some client baggage? I'd love to hear about it down in the comments below. Thanks so much for watching. I'll catch you next time.